the first overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, Tennessee Titans quarterback Cam Ward has been impressive through rookie minicamp. Not just with his accuracy and his arm talent, but also his leadership. We're going to tell you why those things matter. That and more coming up next.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your boy, Damian Parsons. I'm an offensive NFL draft analyst with Bleacher Report. That's my guy, Keith Sanchez. He is a director of scouting with the Draft Network and 2019 national champion with those LSU Tigers. And as always, thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayers. Guys, we are reacting to rookie minicamp. Cam Ward has been impressing for the Tennessee Titans. Derek Carr is out of the picture in New Orleans. That means it's Tyler Shough's time. And Jaxson Dart has gotten off to a hard start for his post-draft process. But before we can get into that, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 back in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Cam Ward, the first overall pick, who has a lot of I wrote an article that should be coming out, or should be out rather, over at Bleacher Report. He's one of the rookies that have a lot of pressure on him, in my opinion, Keith. For number one, you're the first overall pick. That's just the nature of the situation, right? You're a quarterback. You're expected to come in and change the tide. You're in a division where 2 years ago we saw a young man in that same division, C.J. Stroud, take a team from being worst to first and get him into the playoffs. So it's a lot of different pressure. Warren Moon comes out and unretires his Hall of Fame retired jersey and numbering to give it to you. That raised a lot of concerns from some of the media people. It was like, this sets a bad precedent and a lot of things like that. But just overall, like, he's got a lot of pressure on him. And then looking at what he's done through camp, some of the things that's been said about him. My shout out to my guy Teron Davenport, over ESPN covering the team. And he talked about it on Twitter. He said that, just talk about the arm talent, the zip, the velocity that he sees from Cam Ward's arm. But he also talked about the leadership as well. And one of the things that he talked about was that there was at one point Cam Ward threw a route, I think, to Eli Ayomana, the rookie wide receiver out of Stanford. And it was an in-breaking route. And he didn't like how Eli Ayomana ran it, called him back to the line of scrimmage and made him run the route again until it was actually right. You know what I mean? So coming in and already setting the tone, that kind of tracks for what I remember Elijah Arroyo said. He was like, yeah, like Cam, as soon as he got here, he called all of us, got us on the field together, and we worked out to get the chemistry and timing on down pack. Eli Ayomana said during one of the post-practice press conferences, it's going to take some time for me to get used to Cam because he gets the ball out quick and it's on time. And he said, I'm not accustomed to that. He's like, so it's going to take me a little bit of time to get used to it because I need to be ready for the ball every time. He's like, if you're not ready, the ball can hit you in the face. So it's like, be prepared and you got to be ready. But so far, I watched some of the clips and everything, the reps he's taking at practice. Mechanically, he looks good. Of course, everything with a grain of salt. There's no defense. There's no D-line. There's no pads. I mean, granted, if there was pads, you can't touch the quarterback anyway. They're in the red jersey. But so far, so good for Cam Ward.
Yeah, I think obviously it's a positive sign, right? And I go back to the period of time where there's a conversation about not drafting a quarterback and going with, like Abdul Carter or Mason Graham or something like that. Yeah, Travis Hunter. And this is why you wanted a quarterback, right? Is that you wanted the talent. Like, it's been a while since we've seen this level of arm talent come out of Tennessee, right? And I'll go back to maybe Vince Young, but Steve McNair, right? Yeah. Like I'm going Steve McNair. That's where I fall with it, right? As far as somebody that talented. And then I really appreciate the injection of youth that the Tennessee Titans did with the wide receivers, right? Like you talked about Eli Ayomana, but then go and get Xavier Restrepo, and just familiar face with him. So somebody that's kind of, as Cam Ward is kind of engraving his imprint, he has somebody to kind of back him up in the wide receiver room. Like, hey, like, Cam is not tripping. This is just how he wants it, and we can get it done, right? Like, just to have like a second voice and somebody to kind of back you up in those conversations. So I definitely like and appreciate, what Cam Ward is doing. And I think if you're a Tennessee Titans fan, you should definitely be excited about what you're seeing because you have a guy that can make all the throws. And that's why I said this, that depending on what happens in the AFC South, and I think the AFC South is probably a wild card situation, like as far as just things all over the place. I think that the Tennessee Titans, they could be a team that you need to be on the lookout for from a worst to first type of situation or worst to second.
It's interesting. That's something I didn't really thought about with them. And at your point, the injection of youth, bringing in a bunch of young pass catchers to grow with him, Eli Manor, Xavier Restrepo, Shamir DK, Gunnar Helm, like bringing those young guys in to then mesh with what they already have in Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett, who they brought in. And I think I said before, Tyler Lockett is the best, one of the best slot receivers that we've seen in the league in recent years. And I think he's going to be a really good mentor to Xavier Restrepo, who's already good enough to your point about Restrepo being in that room. Cam Ward said, every team that interviewed me pre-draft, I told them, like, I've vouched for Xavier Restrepo. Like, that draft me, go get Xavier Restrepo. So that's just the camaraderie between those two, the chemistry between those two. But Keith, talk like from your past as a coach, right? You've been through in LSU, you've been through the kind of this is what we call a ramp up period. It's not actual full camp, but it's still meaningful rep, everything. What does this do for a young player like a Cam Ward to come and have the success that he's having right now? Chemistry, building it with the young wide receivers, veterans are about to start coming in to camp, everything like that. How does this do for him? Because then after you got OTAs, then you get a little bit of break, and then you get training camp. What does this do for Cam Ward heading into later on in the summer?
Yeah, quarterback is a mental game at the end of the day, right? Like I feel as though 80% of quarterbacking is from the neck up. 80% of it, right? You have the physical tools, that's fine, right? But we've seen plenty of physical tools, and then if they can't mentally get the job done, and Tennessee Titans fans, y'all just had a big arm quarterback, right? That just from the neck up, it just all wasn't there. So saying that it's all mental, meaning that every win matters, DP, and it matters early, right? So even though it's just rookie minicamp and OTAs and things like that, it's a step in the positive direction. It's a step in the right way to where your quarterback is building confidence. And we just go back to the conversation with Sam Darnold and seeing ghosts, right? That's a lack of confidence guy. That's a guy that stuff has been bad a while, and I'm not seeing the field properly. So with a young quarterback, and you're trying to get him to have confidence, and all of those guys have confidence and say they're the best quarterback and things like that. But until you actually do it in the NFL, right, you kind of don't know all the way, right? You were hoping, you're confident in it, but you don't completely know. And so to be able to go to rookie minicamp, dice some stuff up, and you're like, okay, cool. Well, what's the next step? We went from first base to second base. Second base is going to be when the veterans are there, right? And there's OTAs and things like that. Then third base is what? Third base is when you actually get to training camp. And yeah, I made a couple mistakes, but because I've done well in OTAs and rookie minicamp, I feel like I could bounce back. And then the home run, the complete picture is what? Being able to put it together during the season, right? When the games actually matter, the live bullets, things like that. So it's a process, DP. And that's why I don't take any of this. And the coaches will tell you, right? Like, you don't take any of this and say, it doesn't really matter. No, all of it matters. All of it matters when it comes to, seeing, identifying guys that can play early, because you want to tell a guy, like you think about Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, guys who set the NFL on fire as rookies. You want to tell them that rookie minicamp didn't matter? It mattered because that was their first time in the NFL uniform, and they were starting to build out everything and how they were going to play. But DP, let's do this, man. We have another quarterback down in Bayou Country, man, Mr. Tyler Shough. And I think when he was drafted, we thought that he might have been a starter, but it looks like it's definitely trending that way with the retirement of Derek Carr. So let's talk about Tyler Shough and what he has to do battling quarterback Spencer Rattler.
The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. And looking at the biggest moments, Jalen Brunson for the New York Knicks is a guy that you might want to build your next bet around, because the trends and tracking his trends, he's been balling, putting up 20-plus points, multiple assists per game. He's been the clutch player for the Knicks in the playoffs. New to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head over to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 back in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Derek Carr retired this past weekend from the NFL, former quarterback for the New Orleans Saints and Las Vegas Raiders. Keith, we already knew that he had a shoulder injury. We just didn't know to the extent. Like, it was like, oh, yeah, he's might need surgery and he might be out for a while in the season. But then it got to, he's 34 years old, and he just said, nope. Like, they did some scans, whatever. They said it was a degenerative rotator cuff injury that would have required, of course, surgery and probably pushed his time out much further than just 2025. So he decided to walk away from the game, and I understand it. That means it's time for somebody to step up in that young quarterback room, Keith, where 5th-round pick last year, our guy Spencer Rattler out of South Carolina, and now you fast forward to 2025 NFL draft, they drafted Tyler Shough out of Louisville, and in the second round, pick 40 in the second round. And you talk about pressure, he was another one in my article over at Bleach Report. There's pressure on you now, big dog, because like it's one thing to come in and it's like, okay, maybe the veteran makes it back in time and things. No, there is no veteran now. Like it's you and Spencer Rattler, and that has to be the battle to watch. And I for me, Keith, I don't know who's going to be on Hard Knocks. It should be the Cleveland Browns, because I think that's one of the most entertaining situations. But I wouldn't be opposed to the Saints, so I could see how this quarterback room is developing and different things like that. But there was an article put out, Luke Johnson over at NOLA.com, and he talked about how Tyler Shough has been standing out in camp, and he looks the part, right? He said he's the tallest quarterback the Saints have had in a long time. But you see his ability to move through the drills, athleticism is there, his throwing motion, the arm strength, and everything like that. Like, he wasn't asked to like rip deep passes a lot and everything, but the arm talent was on display several times. And everything they've done, I think, more 7-on-7 type stuff. I think it's been a couple teams that do more 7-on-7 than 11-on-11 right now through rookie minicamp. But he said he completed his first 7 attempts in the drill. And everything like that before he got it was like a defensive back that was trying out, got a breakup on the pass and everything. And his best throw was a rifle down the right sideline to a receiver where he split multiple converging defenders. So the arm talent is there. And me and you both talked about it. And this was before. It's crazy, Keith. I feel like we set trends here because we talked about Tyler Shough and the fact that we like Tyler Shough. And this was before everybody else, before all the insiders said, oh, yeah, NFL teams view him as QB2. Some say he could potentially be QB1. No one was talking about Tyler Shough. We were talking about Tyler Shough. Like, man, look, his tape is good. Like, NFL throws, NFL reads, full field reads, not just half field stuff. It was just the fact that he's a 1-year true starter. He's had the injury history with three like season-ending injuries that he's battled with 2 shoulders, a shoulder, collarbone, and then the broken fibula. So it's like him being going to be 26 this September. So it's like I think he still has a lot of development still to go, because he hasn't had all the reps to really mentally develop as a player, man. But so far, so good for him in New Orleans Saints training camp in rookie minicamp. But I think that battle between him and Spencer Rattler is going to be one that you have to pay attention to. Keith, I don't know how they'll play it out, because a lot of the stuff is, okay, draft capital. Like, we got the guy that was drafted higher should be the guy that gets the starting nod. I just believe once we get to camp and different things like that, who plays the best? Like, whoever practices the best, whoever gives your defenses the most headaches, that's probably the guy you should go with.
Oh, I agree, right? And if it's Tyler Shough, right, you play the young guy. If it's Spencer Rattler, he only got a couple snaps, right? And then if I'm Spencer, I'm saying, listen, y'all gave me the rock when it was towards the end of the season, and everybody knew the Saints season was done, right?
Everybody was hurt.
Yeah, give me a motivated team and a team that believes that they could win a division, and let's see what we can do, right? And right now, obviously, it's just a Tyler Shough show, but I expect when Spencer Rattler to come back, I expect him to be competitive, DP. I expect him to compete at a high level, and he's a veteran at the end of the day. I had an opportunity to talk with him at the Super Bowl, right? Sat down and interviewed him and everything. And just from a mental perspective, I would say don't count this guy out because he's focused right now. And obviously he's been a number one quarterback coming out of high school and, had his own Netflix series. I think the South Carolina thing for him was great because he was finally the underdog. And I think he's ready to be in the position of the hunter and not the hunted, right? And so he understands, he hears everything. He's going to come out there. But I think in regards to Tyler Shough, it's going to be fun. We're going to be able to see if they're going to implement some RPO things, via Kellen Moore, do some different things because he's had running quarterbacks in the past. So we'll see everything he gets done. I'm looking at Tyler Shough though, and I'm saying this, that like how fast will he be able to grasp the offense, right? It'll be interesting because it's not like the offense is carrying over from last year. So Spencer is going to have to learn it too, but just little details. And I watched the QB camp, the Gruden QB camp stuff, and you could just tell like just little stuff like making audibles and things like that there's a learning curve for most rookies. And so I want to see how fast he can grasp that versus Spencer Rattler, who may have experience doing it already.
Yeah, I think the other thing that because Kellen Moore said it's a three-way QB battle. He threw Jake Haener in there. No disrespect to Jake. Don't believe the coach speak. Do not believe the coach speak in that situation. It's going to be between Rattler and Tyler Shough. I think the thing that, and this is all about the environment you come from. Spencer Rattler was used to pressure and defensive pressure at South Carolina. Had one of the worst offensive but to that Georgia game. He ripping throws, Williams and the rest of those guys were like literally like converging on him in the pocket. So when you think about what Spencer Rattler like had to endure in college, like he's used to muddy pockets where like the stuff with Tyler Shough is his worst plays comes from pressure getting to him. And I think Kellen Moore is going to have to do some work with him mentally. And I said this before, the injuries that he's suffered, I think gives him a little PTSD about getting hit in the pocket where it's like, man, like I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to miss another full season because of an injury that was a freak injury, like the broken fibula. It was a hip drop tackle. That's why they're taking it out of the game because of things like that, right? I think remember, was it 2 years ago when that was the play? It was like I think Mark Andrews I think late in the season against the Bengals.
Oh yeah, broke his ankle or something.
Messed his ankle up. Like, and it's like we've seen it those type of tackles, and the NFL's like, no, we can't have that. So they're getting rid of it, right? So it's like, and I think for him it's going to be how confident, because I think if they can keep him protected, like he's going to have success. But how can you handle the pressure? Like if you get hit early, right? You brought up Sam Darnold earlier. And one of the things that bothered Sam was pressure. It was like you start hitting Sam, like after he gets the ball out, he start hearing footsteps. Then he starts seeing ghosts and he's not confident. He's not comfortable. I don't want that to happen for Tyler Shough. So it's like he's going to have to work with Kellen Moore and that offensive coaching staff to just get him mentally prepared. Say, listen, we're in a division where Atlanta just took two in first round, just took 2 edge rushers. Yep. You know what I mean? They just improved their pass rush. We know that Todd Bowles will do everything he can to confuse you and then send pressure backside to light you up, right? Like we know that. Carolina defense we'll see. We'll see. They did draft Princely Human-Milan and Nick Scourton, but again, DC Evero is not, it doesn't have a lot of fans in the Charlotte area. So we'll see how that pans out. But still, like you're going to deal with pressure. You're going to get hit, and they're going to have to prepare him for that. Because Spencer Rattler get hit, get back up, and keep throwing. Tyler Shough, if he starts getting hit, then you start seeing the bad decision making, things like that. It's rushing throws. You don't want to see that from him. But like I said, so far so good for him, and I'm excited to see as we get deeper into this summer how he kind of evolves. And does he just I don't want it to be a situation where you hand it to him because he's a second round pick. He needs to take the starting job. And that's what I want to happen.
It's going to have to happen because Spencer is much more talented than just any 5th round quarterback, right? So I think he's going to have to take it. But DP, you talked about decision making, and I don't think there's a guy whose decision making directly correlates to how much you value him as a quarterback than Jaxson Dart in the Big Apple. We're going to talk about Jaxson Dart and his hot start in rookie minicamp. We're going to talk about that coming up next.
Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our every dayers. Jaxson Dart, quarterback out of Ole Miss, who is now the rookie behind Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson for the New York Giants, and a guy that I think we felt like he could have been a back into the first round pick. A lot of the momentum pre-draft was heading in that direction, and then the Giants said, "Let's trade up and go get the guy for Brian Dayball," and that's what they wanted. They wanted Jaxson Dart, or that's what Dayball wanted, and he got it. So far, through rookie minicamp, he had back-to-back good days. I think to close out minicamp and everything. They're another team didn't run any 11-on-11 drills. Most of Dart's work in team came on 7 versus 7 or 7-on-7s. He completed, I think on Friday, he completed 8 of 10 passes, 2 drops. On Saturday, it was 7 of 13. He was 7 of 13. His final pass of rookie minicamp was a 45-yard touchdown to Daquan Felton, who's also a rookie wide receiver out of Va Tech and everything. And I think per the reports, the reason why he didn't complete the same percentage of passes on Saturday as he did on Friday, they were a little bit more aggressive, trying to push the ball a little bit more down the field, attacking that second and third level, things of that nature. And I mean, he's got the arm talent to make, especially those intermediate throws, at second level throws. The deep ball he throws with really good pacing and good touch and arc on it from the pocket and everything. And so far, it looks like he's been confident. And I think when you're drafted to a situation where the head coach wants you, like you should be confident, right? It matters, like, because I'm not going to call out certain situations, but we know, Keith, about some rookie quarterbacks getting drafted in situations where it's like the GM wanted you, but the head coach didn't. The head coach had another guy in mind, and it's like until they can come to an agreement, then it's like, can you make lemonades out of lemons? You know what I mean? Like, okay, if you feel like the GM gave you lemons, don't coach them into a lemonade. Like make something out of it. But we don't always see that in the league. So Jaxson Dart coming in, Brian Dayball wanted him, loved him, appreciated what he could do, and liked the skill set. And now you come in and you're like, I get to, even though I was a first round pick, I'm not thrusted into the starting position. I get to learn behind 2 veteran guys and truthfully get to see what you're not supposed to do. And both quarterbacks are going to give you things that you're not supposed to do that you can watch in camp and in practices. Russell Wilson's going to throw that deep ball, but he doesn't throw a lot in the middle of the field. He doesn't hit those in-breaking routes a lot. It's always kind of been the weakness of his game, where Jameis doesn't see a window he doesn't love. Like, Jameis is going to throw. He's going to test some stuff. Right?
Everybody's open all the time.
Everybody's open all the time. Like, you know what I mean? The receiver doesn't even have to tell Jameis, I'm open. Jameis is like, oh, you're open. I'm going to throw it. It's like, so he gets to watch those things. So I think for him, man, good start to rookie camp. Like I said, being able to not just a completion percentage, making the requisite throws and reads. We saw that at the Senior Bowl, Keith. Yep. If the short stuff, the quick stuff, he can hit. He can hit those type of throws. And if you do get him one-on-one, and it's just a true one-on-one situation in team drills, and he sees it, he's going to let it go. He's going to rip it. He's going to let the throw go, and he can connect on them. The main thing is going to be for him, same thing. You talk about decision-making. When pressure gets back there, his footwork, he becomes a kind of a fadeaway thrower. He starts leaning back and fading away in the pocket. He doesn't always step into his throws. And even I think at the combine, he was like, you saw some throws where his footwork was scattered and he didn't step into the throw. It's just all upper body. It's just all muscling from his waist up. So a lot of things that he can improve on, but he's got time. He's got time to improve on those things.
Yeah, and I think that's why you don't rush him, DP, because at the end of the day, you want a franchise quarterback, right? It's not about getting him out there as early as possible. It's about, hey, how do we have a guy that's the next Eli Manning for us, right? He's going to be here another 10, 15 years, and we have shots to win the Super Bowl and trading back into the first round to get him. was not all the way. So you have to play the long game. And if you're an NFL, I'm not about to say NFL Giants fan. If you're a New York Giants fan, the win is that they gave you quarterbacks to win right now, right? You want to see how talented your roster is. Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, they can throw the football, right? And so I look at it and say you have a present and a future. Allow your future to develop, because we've seen Jaxson Dart in college, and we know that there's things that he needs to work on at the end of the day. There's things that he needs to improve on. We talked about the decision making. Don't make those bad decisions in front of the 60, 70,000 MetLife fans in New York, right? Because the headlines, the tabloids, they're going to go crazy. Do that in practice. Yeah. Allow him to get all of the reps out, all of the bad things in practice. Then allow this too. Allow Brian Dayball, the head coach, to know him, to learn him, right? So then he can prevent him from putting him in those situations. He tried to do it with Daniel Jones. I think Jaxson Dart is more talented, but like we said, it's going to come down to decision making. And Jaxson Dart is the type of guy, I don't know if you feel the same way, that his decision-making spirals quickly, right? And you want to be able to put a governor on that and kind of filter it and be like, nope, we're not going this direction. Yeah. We're turning around and we're going back the other way, right? And so
he's too emotional to me.
Yeah, yep. And that's why they tell you with quarterbacks, right? Like and we know Tom Brady and talked about crazy Tom. I forgot what they call him.
Psycho Tom.
Yeah, Psycho Tom. But that was already once he won Super Bowls and I was already established, right? And he understands how to control his temper. But that's why you don't want quarterbacks who ride the emotional highs and lows, is because when they're high, they can go different ways with this. And when they lows, they can go different. You want a quarterback that's kind of even keel and always has the same temperament.
No, 100%. I think he might have said that. Was it during the Gruden camp thing? I think he might have talked about being like an emotional player.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, it kind of makes sense why in the late game situations you haven't been good in those late game situations like that. You got to calm yourself down, because when you, like you said, when you're too high, that decision making can go left or right depending on just how you're feeling in that moment, right? Like,
also
you're making the wrong decisions.
That we associate emotions with, especially with football, right? Like anger and aggressiveness, but can an emotion be nervous? Can an emotion be like, all of those are still emotions too, right? And that's
anxiety,
why you want to
fear.
Yeah, that's why you want to eliminate all of them, to be completely honest.
No, 100%. I think that's going to be the thing with Brian Dayball, is getting him just comfortable, right? Like I said it, with Cam Ward, is like, if I'm Coach Callahan, I'm telling him, listen, this is not Miami, this is not Incarnate Word, and this is not Washington State. You don't have to carry us to victories each and every week, so that because we watched. We watched Cam Ward, and that Miami's defense was one of the worst in probably college football all around. Like, that was a bad defense. No matter how many talented players they had, the defense just wasn't good. And it's like, you couldn't enter a game and be like, man, I could put up 35 and we could hold them to 17. Nope, we're going to put up 40. They're going to score 38. This is going to be a late game win, depending on who got ball last, right? And we saw that against, I think, Georgia Tech, Louisville, Cal, Syracuse. They ended up losing the Syracuse game because the defense couldn't get stops. And then you start seeing Cam Ward making those decisions of, I got to be Superman. I got to be the superhero. I got to put the cape on and like do the most. So it's like, no, same thing with Jaxson Dart. Is like, listen, man, just trust the process. Trust everything around you. When we dial up for Malik Neighbors, get it to Malik Neighbors. If we call a run game to Cam Scadaboo and to Tyrone Tracy, get it to him. Like, listen, don't get stuck on reads, because he does that from time to time as well. Where it's like he sticks on that first read at times. You're like, I'm gonna throw it anyway. It's like, no, just I don't care if it's Malik. Like, pivot off that. Go to Darius Slayton. We got him on the backside on the slant. Throw it. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, make the right conscious decisions. And I think if he does that, he can be a good quarterback in the NFL, because he has the physical tools and traits to do so. He can run the ball, expand your playbook and your play calling. But yeah, it's a lot of things that from a coaching staff's perspective, you got to coach out of his game and then coach him up mentally. So when you get in that fourth quarter game against Jalen Hurts, and you know that they are Super Bowl champions, they've been to multiple Super Bowls, they've won one, you don't blink down the barrel. Like, you standing in front of standing down the barrel, you staring it down. Guess what? You got your own barrel too. So they're staring down at you. Like, he's got to figure that part out, because Keith, like you said, the emotions definitely get him in trouble late in games.
Yep. Well, DP, that wraps up another episode, man, of the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I want to end this podcast off by saying shout out to our everydayers. Thank you for tapping in with us each and every single day. I am Keith Sanchez. You can find me on X at the Talent Code. That right there is my guy, my co-host, Mr. Damian Parson. You can find him on X at DP_NFL. And like we like to say, man, y'all come talk to us because we like to talk back.
Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. And come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.